Brutus.
Hey,
Okay.
I love all of your instruments.
I know. Look at all those.
Oh, yeah, these are kind of old beat up things. Our ornaments. We
Our
don't leave our
ornaments?
good ones out. And over here, then we've got the
The
oh,
guns.
gun rack.
Oh,
Great
oh,
balls.
wow.
Whoa, huh? That gun rack was made from leftover old world white oak that was used in Dan Brown's house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
My
cool.
nephew, Kent Scoville, worked on it. And he had some pieces and made Bob that gun rack.
Oh,
It's not-
wow.
It's not as vicious as it looks. The instruments look better.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a better
I
view.
agree.
I
Hey,
just
you
thought,
can call me something besides Grace if you want. Want to make up a new name for me for the Conservation Commission?
I know. It's getting very confusing.
What's your middle name, Grace?
Scott?
E. You can call me Gracie.
Then I'd get confused because people in my family still call me Gracie, and I think
Oh.
my sister was in the room.
I know that was my nickname growing up.
Yeah, oh, me too. And plus, my mother's name was Grace. So
Oh,
she was
heaven.
Grace and I was Gracie, and she was Big Grace and I was Little Grace.
Oh, no. Well, I guess Grace M and Grace L.
Yeah, that's what we do for
Yeah.
well, because we have Smiths,
Oh.
Eddie and
You could call me the Empress.
oh,
Woohoo.
face.
we are streaming live. Just
Yeah. Should I start
Yes.
the meeting?
I don't care if people know of me as the Empress.
I was just letting you know.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Susan.
All right. I would like to call the meeting of the Northwood Conservation Commission, March 2nd, 2021. And call to order Grace Levergood, Chair.
Winnie Young,
Grace Mattern, member.
Susan Romano, member.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
First, we will go over the minutes of February 2nd, which was 5 pages and very diligently written up by Susan. I make a motion to accept the minutes of February 2nd.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? I have some edits. You want me to go page and line?
Yeah.
Okay. Page 2, line 20. Instead of kept to, should probably be maintained. Still line 20 at the end, instead of into, just have it in, results in less.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Line 22, slash as shown here. Okay. Page 3. Mr. Masick stated that they will have indoor plumbing. Line 30, Miss Mattern, not Miss Levergood. Did you get those? So ordinances? Grace?
No.
Okay, page 5, line 12. Instead of tis, it. At the end of the line, Mr. Borman stated that it might be. You can tell I'm retired. I had time to read this whole thing. Chair, okay, page 6, line 44. Chair Levergood stated that the members, not they. Page 7, Okay, Rick Vanderpool, can you correct the spelling there? Winnie,
Yeah, it's capital VAN, then lowercase de, and then
Uh-huh.
capital POLL.
LL, okay. And then Deloria is DESLAURIA, is that right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Does it end with an R? Oh,
It's
well.
an R. RIER.
Yeah.
Okay, what?
Okay. DESLAURIER.
Thank you.
Okay. Got that? Page 7, line 17. 18, page 18. DOT could use
What? There's page 7?
7, line 18.
Oh, okay.
DOT could. That's it.
On line 9 on page 7, Osier, Phil Osier is AUGER.
That is not how I would have spelled
I know. It is
Did I spell it OSIER?
just like
or-
it
Yeah.
sounds.
Yeah, just like,
Because I had a friend growing up with the last name Ocean.
I have on page 6, line 21. It is school lot west. I mean, I said east, but it is school lot west.
Okay. So okay. So I'll
Yeah.
fix that.
I just figured that would be. Those are
Okay.
confusing.
okay. Anything else?
That was so thorough, you guys.
Oh,
There's just one more. I'm sorry. On page 7, on line 20 and 21. I was talking about erosion on the edge of Route 4, right over where the Narrows Brook crosses. And that tar is eroding.
Okay. I thought I brought a copy of these home, but I don't. So I'm just going by whatever line you tell me, and I'll go in and fix them. So was that when you guys were talking about projects from DOT?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
so what should it be, Winnie?
Let me just see, like right along the Narrows Brook. Okay, so on line 21, it says like right along the Narrows Brook, and I would put down above Route, right along Narrows Brook, where Route 4 crosses over it instead of the boat launch, right along Route Narrows Brook, where Route 4 crosses over it, because it's Route 4 that's eroding.
Okay.
Okay,
Good.
all right, thank you. All right, I make a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye,
Aye.
thank you. Nice job.
A lot of work.
Yeah, whew. Okay, annual Conservation Commission review. Winnie sent it out again, her list. Would you like to discuss it, Winnie?
Yeah, I just wanted people to look over this and then we could, start looking at some of these things. Linda put in, you got the one with the bullet points, right?
No.
Okay, well, it's the same thing. I mean, it does have capitalized like update list of conservation lands.
Yep.
Okay, so that's, yeah, because I redid it so that I group things. So that's fine because you have that's fine. So, just some of these things, conservation lands could change. Again, on the first line there where I've got the map and lot numbers, I have school lot east 244 11. Okay, that should be west. Okay, school lot west is map 244 011, and school lot east is 244 lot 42.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I would call them north and south. I have to think every time, okay, where is, okay. But yeah, that's right. So these are the different conservation, different lands that we're involved with. Some of them are the town forests and so on. So these should be, sorry, just update a list every year, if that changes or not. Okay, yeah, so there'll be new acquisitions could be added. All right, so, and the other thing I was going to put, and it may be down below here, is discussing conservation easements on some of these. But I'll just go through this list. That'll probably come up a little bit later. And, land, I'm sorry, go ahead. Comments on that part? No. Land management, kind of the obvious stuff, and we're doing a lot of trail stuff. And I even thought maybe if you got more and more people involved or interested, they might have local groups doing some of the maintenance, and they would be checking in, like the person who's cleared up some of the stuff on the Gupta Lamprey pasture.
Yeah,
I would
right.
love to know who that is, because those are big trees that he cut out of the way. That was great, he or she.
Right.
Okay, inspection of boundaries is pretty much what like Fred's doing. Fred
Yeah.
did offer to make a spreadsheet of his work and keep track of it with dates and so on, as far as, what was done each year.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah. And then, of course, it's on the agenda, but scheduling the town forester, get Brian Camo going on some of these. Sarah Ward at Co-Brown with the natural resources class. Kelsey Mill, I sent a little info sheet to show you where it was and what it looks like. And that's not very much land, but that could be, cleared up and trash picked up off it once in a while. And yeah, I mean, I had this in here, but Grace, you mentioned keeping a real specific, list of our hours.
Yeah.
Fred and I, we did that on the Guptal because there was a grant for the, I think it was the pavilion and stuff there. So it's an easy thing to do, to keep a record, not only of overall work things that have been done, but time, time put in. And these are some of the long-term responsibilities. Again, I don't know if I've got everything, but I don't think I've ever visited all the prime wetlands,
Yeah.
some of them, but just kind of take a look at them, see what's going on around them.
I found your map of all the prime wetlands. You sent that
Oh.
around to us.
Okay, did everybody get that?
No, I should send this around again.
Yeah. Does it have numbers on it, or just the green?
It has numbers.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Because I have an index I could send, because each one of those numbers, it kind of says kind of where they are, like
Okay.
your acorn ponds, if they're near this or that, which gives the people an idea when they're looking at the map, also kind of a description of where the heck they are.
Yeah.
Please be aware that there's a binder, a little folder on every single prime wetland at the town hall.
Do you think this is something we should be putting on the town website?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
a lot of these maps should be on there, I think, just to
Mhm.
have people aware of what we have in Northwood.
I know, because I don't know if every time a plan comes in, I mean, if it's got a wetland permit attached to it, we usually see it, but people might not know it's a prime wetland.
Yeah. Yeah.
I started looking at the open space, made a list of open space lots. And that's another discussion, if we want to be involved at all, and I hate the word monitor, but you know what I mean, involved with how they're used and so on. And some of them are tiny, but some of them might be connected to trail areas, other conservation lands. So that's a whole discussion for a later time.
Are those listed as other properties in the town?
No, those aren't
report?
listed at all. No, I don't think so. No, they aren't.
Okay.
And it's kind of hazy. I mean, Fred had one in his neighborhood, and He says, yeah, we should look into that because it's not always, it's like land that's left aside and they get to have smaller lots. And I've got to research it more, but some towns have more stipulation as to deed restrictions and stuff on them, I think. So, and they're all over the place. I mean, they really are all over the place. Monitoring easements so far. The only one that the town owns exclusively is the demerit easement.
You know, where is that?
That is down on Upper Deerfield Road, across the road from the Giles lot.
Okay.
And I was trying to, some of the land has changed around a little bit in there, and I need to get a hold, sometime this summer, get a hold of the owner and just, walk in there.
Yeah, because I was trying to find the tax number. Giles lot is 40, but it's not listed on the ArcGIS, Access GIS tax map. They only list lot 39
Oh, I don't.
in that area. So I don't know what the deal is there.
Okay, that might not, because it's not a land trust, it's totally the town. It's up to us to get it on there. Yeah. In other words, it's not like a bear paw or anything like that. It's totally our thing, I guess. I think it was on some maps, but okay, so it's not on.
It's not on.
Oh,
yeah.
I see what you mean. I know which one you mean.
They only list lot 39
And 39 is the Giles?
is Weeks. It listed as owned by Weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's ArcGIS.
But it's green as though it is town land, but it's listed as the owner's Weeks.
Okay. That's a new one. Oh, well, it could be a new one. I don't know.
And then I see across the street is Demerit. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Huh. Oh, God. We'll talk a little bit about the quarry, but, just kind of updating of progress, people keeping an eye, the town engineer goes out there and so on, but just kind of, excuse me, keeping up with what's happening and if some restoration or reclamation, those words get batted around a lot and of course pretty much synonyms. So obviously areas of interest for conservation efforts with Bear Paw, confer with them. That's kind of, that gets done, they get a hold of us. The intent to cut, at one time we were seeing them, I guess we brought that up one time. And so those were, we just got to see them back, a couple decades ago. And we actually went out and did some walks on land back when they cut the Gupta lot. I can't remember who cut that, but anyhow, before it got made into conservation land. Anyhow, to just a review of that, asking the town hall to pass them our way, just to take a quick look at them and to see if forestry notifications are needed or done. There was a lot of wetland damage along power lines this summer, this past year and the year before actually. And that might be something we would keep. Fish and Game is the one that gets to weigh in on that. Okay, yeah, making sure we keep track. There's so many different land trusts, keeping track of, even if we're not involved in it, keeping track of conservation easements. Okay, see the map and concerns. Okay, yeah, I just put a reference into that NALMAC map that showed a lot of them in the NALMAC area.
Yeah, that's an excellent map. I printed that one out.
Oh, and then you can go into all those lots and get to
I know.
Rick Vanderpool did a fantastic job on that.
Wow, that is excellent.
Yeah. Okay, town report, like I was doing, making sure each year that things are listed correctly. And then if it comes up, we would get probably notified, as we were this past time, by the planning board as far as ordinance changes. And then, we've done some things and maybe do a little bit more, but it would be nice to do it in conjunction if possible, with other organizations, to make them more well-known and to have more of a community feeling. And we all know Bear Paw and Nalmac and Friends, and Graylag Preserve is something that Carl Wallman established. Most of you know that. It's in Pittsfield, but it's right on the Northwood border. And then, the schools, getting schools involved and getting kids to come out for some of these things. They used to have that just popped into my head. I'm not sure if they do anymore, but one of the components for senior portfolio was attendance at a town meeting. And I used to have kids go to Conservation Commission
All
meetings,
right.
things
Yeah.
like that. So.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. No, it's an excellent list. I'd like to see it more in a spreadsheet type of thing so we could, check things off or.
Right. Okay. Yep. And you had said, I had put a little note at the top because you had said maybe in December of each year,
Yeah.
kind of having a month that, it would get put on the agenda, whatever, and go through and see what needs
Yeah.
to be done and what has been done.
And then it would help with writing the summary report we have to write for the town report.
Oh, that's true. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if it was formatted like Grace L suggested,
Yeah.
then, because I imagine some of these things would get done over the course of the year and they could get checked off.
Right.
Right. I mean, we don't anticipate getting till next December and going, oh, wow, we haven't done anything. We gotta get busy.
I mean, I'd like to go visit these prime wetlands. That would be an interesting,
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
site walk.
yeah, that we would have to, because, I would say most of them or a good deal of them are on private property, but just notify the landowner. But that would be good.
Yeah.
If then you said you're going to go out and look at a prime wetland on somebody's land, they might not know that it's a prime wetland. So it could be a
Right.
education both ways.
So we'd have to notify them and.
And
Okay.
were you saying earlier that there's a map that you'll send to all of us?
Yeah, the one of the wetlands.
Okay.
I'll send. Winnie sent that. I don't have the definition of the numbers though.
No, but I'll send that. I'll send the
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've
a
seen
list
that.
of the
I kind of thought all of Northwood was a wetlands. It is around my house.
yeah.
Yeah, well,
Ponds and brooks and marshes and ponds. And,
yeah. I didn't realize those two ponds that are out, the acorn ponds, the lower ones, real lower ones, are all prime wetlands.
Right.
Yeah.
And the most eastern one is in an open space. Yeah.
Yeah,
These are kind of things that with the maps, and Linda will talk about this, what she's found from Stratford Regional, and we have Susan's map, ours map,
Yeah.
what kinds of things we want on there, and do we want data, include the prime wetland with other data on the same map? So that's something that could be discussed with that.
yeah.
Yeah, I never even knew those ponds were there.
Yep, it's
I
a
mean,
little
really
treasure out there. Northwood
is.
treasure.
Our backyards, right?
Yeah. Are they like real ponds?
Well, they're beaver. They're dammed by beavers, but yeah, they're ponds. There's
Yep.
4 of them now.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a nice little string of ponds, and
And how do you get out there?
Well, there's a road off Green Street. It's all private property, but there's a road off Green Street, like I think next to Mr. Graves' home there on Green Street. And
mhm.
that takes you out there.
Okay.
There was a lot of use over last week. A lot of people were out there. By the footprints I saw.
Oh, wow.
So at least
Yeah.
people are becoming aware of it.
Right. It's nice. It really is nice out there. Those actually were dammed up. Little Acorn and Big Acorn both have dams.
Oh yeah.
on them, and they used to be, we thought it was to open up because of the mill further down, past there's a mill site off of 202, kind of like past the dentist and out in there. And, but Fred Holmes said that no, it was used to flood properties downstream for agriculture, to get
Oh.
water for their fields. Cause we always assumed it was like for mill, they would go up and open them up to run the mill, but
Right.
Yeah.
he knows because he used to open them up.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, the highest pond, which we call Little, is really got quite a dam on it.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Pretty
It
awesome.
really is.
Oh
Yeah.
boy, I'm gonna go out there.
I know, you gotta go bushwhack around in there.
Yeah, I know. I live at this end of town. I know this end of town really well, but
Okay, well, that's great, a nice list there.
yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
I'll try to get that into a spreadsheet. Like I said, Fred's going to put a lot of the land maintenance into one, and that might be a separate one because that'll be a pretty busy one.
okay, next is the checklist for special exception requests that Winnie also sent around.
Yeah, I didn't change Linda's that much. I added a couple of things, but I think we realize now that every project is so different from others. I mean, compared the DACO project with Camp Yavana, I mean, really, I mean, it can't get much more different than that. So it's a generalized thing, and I guess if when people come in, we'll ask them the questions. But
Right,
anyway, I don't think it's much different. Linda added the ordinance. What ordinance would have been, what ordinance would be the one that they need relief for? Because this was for the ZBA.
okay, okay, ordinance,
So that would be the ordinance that they are seeking relief of. I guess that's.
okay,
I guess
yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, it's not an official list, but it's a good thing to look at when you're reviewing a permit application.
Yeah, and this, I know that when Mr. Holden came representing Mr. Dago, he filled one of these out. He kind of made his own format a little bit, but he had the same questions on it. So it gives the applicant, some heads up as what we were going to talk about, what we might ask about. I know that it's kind of awkward. I have, for the columns, I have provided, yes, will do. I mean, I don't know what the good word would be. I didn't want to make will do in the future or something like that. I don't know if there's a better thing in there that wouldn't take up too much room in a column. I guess because it might be yes, they might be going to do it in the future, or it's not applicable at all.
You could say proposed or something.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I know Susan Romano had some comments on this, right? Susan, in another meeting, you had sent around your concerns about this. Oh, I can't hear her. Oh,
Okay.
Can't
Yeah,
hear
I
you.
think that it was a more generalized sort of list, but I think that was approaching a broader number of applications. And if this one is just for special exceptions for the town of Northwood, then I think that that's fine. I think it helps clarify things. I think it's very well organized. And if Linda's looked at it, and possibly even James, might have some comments about what he feels might be needed. But I think that initially it was broad, but now that it's narrowed down to just special exceptions for this town, and it's not requiring that they have permits already.
Right.
Things like that we're really not allowed to do.
Right.
And I think it's fine. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And keep in mind, this was one that I just put more things in that Linda had started originally.
Mhm.
Okay. If you could think of anything else that should go on it that you think, let us know. Otherwise, we'll get this into a form to use.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next is the status of the maps. I know Susan sent around a very nice map. You're all set.
It is just a draft. I don't know if can I share my screen at all? I'm not sure.
Well, that'd be
We
cool.
can talk
Yeah.
about it.
You're all set. You
Because
can share.
I have everything squished over so I can look at stuff on the side. I'd love to screen share because then it'll be bigger.
So let's see. Can everyone see my screen? Oh, I need to share it, right? Share screen.
Yeah,
Okay, we're gonna do that
there you go.
here. Can you see it?
Not
Not
yet.
yet.
Um,
Yep,
There
there
it
it is.
is.
okay, there we go. Hold on, I gotta move your faces over to the other side. Okay, here we go. So this is just a draft. We've been working on this, and my son Tyler, who's our GIS person for the company, put this together. What is not complete is that like things like this area here needs to not be so dominant. The legend, we still need to color code those categories. And I would like your opinion too about what those categories are to make sure that they are, things that you are interested in, right? Or that help clarify what the different colors mean. Now, the numbers that we have on each of the conservation parcels will be associated with an index of all the names of the parcels, similar to the names that Winnie was talking about in her summary. So we'll have a list of all the names related to that. We tried to fit it on this page, but it wouldn't fit. So, so that'll be kind of an index that will go along with the map. And then you see here off to the right, we need to shade that lighter to match this. And so make this a little bit more readable. I wanted to make this, as far as a visual, a very soft kind of natural sort of color with the hill shade. But I don't know, I think perhaps maybe we need to make these colors a little darker. But if there's something from your maybe artistic perspective that you would like to change on this too, we'd be happy to hear that and try to incorporate those. So I'm hoping that this provides information and is also nice enough that the town would be happy to use.
Would it be possible to have Northwood take up more of the map just so everything's bigger? Do you know what I
Oh,
mean?
sure. You
Like
mean,
if you look at
you
the
want this?
like if you look at the
Okay.
eastern corner of the town, it seems to me that could move over towards the border quite. I mean, I realize it'll all be proportional, but it seems, it looks like this.
Okay.
It seems to me the whole thing of Northwood could get bigger and it would still be visually pleasing as a thing. You know what I mean? It wouldn't look too crowded
Yes,
and then everything would
I
be
think that's a
bigger.
really good idea. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Okay, we'll try to zoom in on that and make it bigger for people to see.
Yeah.
Of course, this could be printed also on a larger piece of paper too.
Oh, yeah, there's that.
Yeah, I know, 11 by 17, then
But
fit the index in maybe.
sure.
Um,
Right, yeah.
I know
That's true.
the script is very beautiful, but it's a little hard to read.
Yep.
I
Are you
I
talking
think more like an
this over
Arial
here?
font or something.
Yeah.
So this over here. Okay,
Yeah.
so part
Yeah.
of that issue is that this isn't lightened like this is. See how that is? So we have a difference there. I was wondering what you would think of like putting a parchment kind of background behind that.
Yeah, I
Kind
think
of
that'd
make
be
it
good.
look a little antique. Like something that, and then you could see that as that labeled or the title.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. We'll put a background in that to clean it up. Okay.
And
Good
obviously,
idea.
I immediately want to know what every number corresponds with.
Right.
I know.
I was looking at
Okay,
going,
so I
what
can
tells me what the numbers are. I understand that's still coming. But I like that
yeah,
feature
okay, so
that there are
say that
numbers.
again.
I like that feature of it, that there are numbers that will go to an index.
Yes. If you want, we can send the index to Linda so that you guys can look at it. There are I think I have, Tyler gave me like 5 different parcel cards that are, so we're kind of thinking about some of them. So particularly Winnie, with your knowledge of all of these properties too, we could check and see what maybe if we can clear up some confusion about who the owners are or what the name of the property is. You know, I think we ran into that too in your summary. It's like sometimes you just don't really know what that means. Another thing, Grace, Grace Mattern, do you guys think that we should add in the Bear Paw conservation easements here, or?
Well, I
But
wonder.
I think that would be a separate
came up
map.
in the last thing, having a map that's got everything that's protected in Northwood. I wonder if we should just have the towns and then another map where you would, I mean, you could start with the same town map and then have one that has Bear Paw properties, easements. You listed Selt in the society, Winnie, in your checklist thing. No, I have no idea what they have in Northwood. I know Selt's involved with the Short Creek Farm, whatever that said it
Right.
about that farm. So yeah, I think it would be great if there was just the Northwood conserved area, the ones that are connected to the town, and then a second map that's got everything. I love maps though, so you can't make too many maps for me.
I know, me too.
Right.
Linda, are you there?
Any other changes that you?
Yes.
I just wondered if, is there anything that Stratford Regional is doing that's duplicating this? I know that you had talked to Stratford Regional about maps too, and I don't know what's overlap here or whatever.
Well, we decided to wait because I kind of jumped the gun on that, but we can talk about that if you want to right now, or I don't know if Susan R. is done or.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, but I just wondered if there was anything that you saw that, I don't know exactly what they're doing, but no, let's finish. We should finish, and you know, if there's other comment on the map, sorry.
Yeah. Are there any more comments? And then we can just move on if not.
I was only going to add the comment, and I don't know if I heard it 100% regarding the information in the top right, but the
Yes.
cursive is very attractive. But when you get into the secondary wording, if that could be different and keep the script, I think that would help.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
keep the
okay.
script
So
as
that's-
more the title.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
we-
change, so have the title in the script and then for the lower part, do what now?
Do that in a more, just a sans serif font of some type.
Or what if it was like the font of the names of the towns? You
I
know,
can't read what it even says after Northwood, New Hampshire. I not on your,
No, I can't
Okay.
either. I can't either.
because it's on, you know,
No,
we
there's-
can't
yeah, there's
zoom,
a-
that's all. Because it's on your
So
screen, we can't.
we talked about. Yeah, I know, right, sorry.
I know, I was over there trying to move the 80 and change it. And I'm like, whoa, I can't do this.
Oh, there we go.
So here's what we'll do. We're gonna put like a parchment background on it to kind of go with this color here. And then we want conservation areas, of course, to be the title. And maybe perhaps we can make that bigger. And then, but we really want Northwood, New Hampshire to be.
Oh,
pretty
yeah, no,
dominant,
I meant the
too.
stuff underneath could be not in script.
Yeah. You could
That could-
use the
That could
same,
stay there. Yeah, we could also like move this to another spot,
yeah.
Well,
you know, like take all of this. Yeah.
Right, and
But,
the only other thing
okay,
I-
so I will do some. Go ahead.
The only other thing I would add is that the first thing that I saw that struck me, besides the fact that we all want to know what the numbers correspond with. I agree completely with Grace Mattern that if you could zoom, because we don't care about, look, Rochester Reservoir we might if we lived in Rochester, but and really zoom out that Northwood portion, have less
Yeah,
around it. I mean, that would help.
yeah.
I don't
All
know
right,
how you have it set up, if it's in layers, if you can just do that and leave, or if you have to rearrange everything on your program. But
No,
it is
well,
quite, it definitely is a lovely design and colors, and it just is very nice to look at.
And I do really like the shaded hills.
I do too.
Oh,
Yeah, I like the topography.
Yeah.
In there.
so we figured out how to take the digital elevation model and turn it into hillshade. So,
Oh,
and then we overlaid that. It's actually overlaid on a topographic map, and with old-fashioned, see that kind of old-fashioned style of writing on it, that font.
Yeah.
So we just kind of love that. And but I think you're right. We need to bring this. It'll only take 3 seconds to zoom in on this town.
mm,
Oh, cool.
That's how long it takes. So, and then we'll just move things around and try to make it look right. Okay. So, yeah, we still have credits to put in too. We still have another item to sit in there, but
I
anyway,
like the
so
probably.
I'm glad that.
I like the probably
Go ahead.
state land
yeah, probably.
legend.
I wrote that. I wasn't sure. I did.
Yeah, I figured that's not the final, but
Yeah, right.
it is a very attractive map.
Well,
It is.
oh, good. Thank you. And so we'll send all of this to you, and another draft to you, and then you guys can, let me know at the next meeting, or actually go through Linda somehow, maybe. I don't know. But
Okay. Thank you.
anyway,
Thank you.
so here's Tyler. Tyler's here.
Oh,
Here's the man who made the
Thank you, Tyler.
Tyler.
Yeah.
all right. Okay. Well, thank you guys.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Next up is a status.
could I interrupt for just
Yeah.
a second? I just wanted to follow up on what Winnie had asked about SRPC, because we didn't discuss that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Basically, I contacted them, and they are willing to do any maps, that pretty much anything we ask within reason, that they will do for no charge, based on the dues that we pay. And they do have a base map with conservation land on it. I don't know, it hasn't been updated. So, but they haven't started on anything. So I don't know where you want to go with this. I will say, and I don't know what, if there's any other specific maps, they're willing to go and do it right now. If you have some ideas on some other maps you may want.
I think we, as a conservation commission, we need an overlay district map. Because that,
Okay,
that's like critical for what we're doing.
for all the overlay districts
Yeah.
in the town.
So we know
Okay,
the permit comes in where the boundaries are.
okay. Well, as far as that goes, there is an original all overlay district boundaries map. It's available at the town hall. You want to, so that if it's provided to you as a digital and something you're going to see on your screen, there's just so much on that plan. It's
Yeah.
going to be difficult to.
I mean, I would be for them, you know, just a map showing those overlay districts. And I think that's something we need to put on our website, because when people apply, they need to know whether their property's in it or not.
As far as which overlay?
Well, all the three of them, right? The Big Woods, the Acorn Ponds.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you meant steep slopes overlay, wetlands overlay district.
The ones that are
You're talking
listed
about the
in
conservation overlay district.
yeah, conservation overlay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I think that's already available, and I can see what they can do to. They may want to update it based on a better technology than when it was done. Do I dare say 20 years ago? 1999, I have the base maps.
Oh, wow.
Okay. The wetland overlay district and the steep slopes overlay are for general guidance only, and those require designation in the field.
Right.
But I can get you, I will get a copy of the other and ask if it can be updated.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Can we move on to the DACO application?
They met, planning board met February 25th. And Mr. Holden has submitted a new plan for Mr. Daco, updated plan, not totally new, updated. It's only got 50 different PDFs. As I look at it, and I looked over a little bit, and I could go through and I can compare it to the old ones. I'm assuming, well, I'll look at specific things, but I'm not an engineer. So I don't know if any of you want to take a look at that at all. There is one page of conditions of approval, and I started looking through that. I got to look at it more closely. It's not like it's not the reclamation, and again, restoration and reclamation. We use both terms interchangeably. Anyhow, there's no separate page for that plan yet. We will get, according to 155E3, we will get a copy of the excavation permit and the restoration plan. That's part of the process. But they're going to meet again. The planning board had just gotten Mr. Holden's update. And so the planning board is going to take a look at that. I don't know if anybody else wants to take a look at that. Linda sent it, and then I worked with Susan Austin to make sure I could get into each one. So I started looking at that. I don't know if anybody else wants to look at the condition page. That's one page. But they're going to make a decision pretty soon, right, Linda? I mean, when do you, they still have.
Well, the plan at this point is that James, our planner, is going to look at the revised plan set and have a review sheet done for the March 11th meeting to distribute to Mr. Holden. They are not on the agenda for that night, but his plan is to spend the first 2 weeks reviewing, writing his review, and then the application will be on the docket for the 25th.
Now, so that they could okay the excavation permit on the 25th.
Possibly, yes. I
And
think I actually did send Mr. Holden another request regarding putting the reclamation plan on a separate sheet. I know James has mentioned it twice. I think hopefully we will receive that, or the planning board will require it as a separate sheet. It should be a separate sheet.
right. Yeah, they had talked about that. Yep.
Well, I wouldn't mind seeing the conditions plan. Is that possible to email that around?
I can email the entire set. It's all
Yeah.
in one. Yeah, I'll do that.
Linda, you just have to give permissions. That's the thing I ran into with Winnie. To the Google Doc or the whatever. Do you know how to do that? Do you want me to just email it?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, we were going through something today, or was it today or yesterday? And it was it started out like it was going to be really long. But
Bless you.
figured it out.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll just send it out.
Okay. Thanks. Okay. So Winnie, are you planning to be there at March 25th meeting?
Yes, if
Yeah,
the
okay.
planning board will have me. Linda, is it necessary for March 11th, or is not going to hear it until, is
The case is not on the agenda for the 11th.
James going to go through and
No,
discuss? He's going
no,
to? Okay.
no,
So-
it's just a matter, that was a deadline he set that review would be ready to distribute.
Okay, so I don't need, they don't, I'll try to get just the 25th, not the 11th, right?
That'd be great, yeah.
And again, I just want to say to the Conservation Commission that I'm assuming with the AOT plan and the town engineer, the minutia that I am not qualified to assess is being checked by DES for the AOT, the wetland permit, and from DES, and then the town engineer. Because the town engineer looks it over too, right, Linda? I mean,
Well, the town engineer typically reviews the stormwater report, and that's already been done. I don't know if it's changed to any degree, or if it's just a matter of whether or not that has been completely redone, if the board decides to send that out or not. I haven't looked at any of the files in that email yet. Just haven't had the time.
Mhm.
Did you happen to notice whether the drainage report was revised? Winnie?
okay, would that be the diagrams you mean, or a written?
Would be a report containing calculations. We can look into that. I can ask James to, I'll note that to ask him if that needs to be sent out to the engineer again, or if not.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see,
Well, it would have to be part of the alteration of terrain permit.
right, and they'll be checking.
Yeah.
all that. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I looked it over, I looked some of it, but I didn't look at every single one yet. So I'm not sure if that's in there, Linda.
Okay. Can we move on then? Let's see.
Yeah.
Date on boundary marking and trails. I haven't done much lately.
Number 8, right? Update on town-owned parcel.
Oh, yeah. Update on town-owned parcels.
Linda, you wanted to explain what you explained to me about the school lots, right?
Yeah, our new town administrator, Walter Johnson, is at the request of the selectmen going through the list of town-owned properties and He's doing some in-depth research on each one. I anticipate it's going to take some time. One of the things that I found out in looking into it is that it appears as if the roadways within the school lots are actually part of School Lots West, as we've so named it. So that may be an issue as far as separating that out, unless there is some survey plat from back along that was not brought forward. But according to the tax maps that we have in the GIS, it appears that it's all one lot. So if the selectmen are going to convey the roadways in the beach lots to the Lucas Pond Association, those roadways would have to be separated from the School Lot West, which is a designated town forest. I also talked to Walter about those little lots along Lucas Pond Road, the 9 lots that were little lots that were never leased. And he agreed, he felt that that they definitely should be merged as part of the School Lots East. But that would be up to the Board of Selectmen, but he certainly would be favorable to recommending that to them. But he's going to be doing the deed research and the history on a variety of these lots in preparation for the selectmen. And he did on 2 occasions tell me that it is his intent that no lots be conveyed or considered under his watch unless the Conservation Commission has the opportunity to review and send their comments to him for the Board of Selectmen. So he definitely is in support of the commission having a role in any town lands that may in the future be put up for sale.
That's good.
And in the determination which ones are best to retain and keep a little bit better handle on it than what has been done in the past as far as the list of properties.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, I corrected it. Okay, so the east and west lots, I would love to call them north and south because it'd be so much more clear. But the one that has the roadways in it for Lucas Pond is actually the east one. It's further east toward, it sticks out further east than the one that is on the north side of the Lucas Pond Road, which I would like to call School Lot North. And that one would be the more westerly one. So I messed up in the beginning, and I think we've been calling them that because I messed up. But you see what I mean, Linda?
Well, let's change them now before that goes on any further and name them what you'd like, what the commission would feel comfortable with, and then go with that. If north and south is best, let's change it now.
Yeah, lot 11 would be north.
Yeah, so that's the one that's north of Lucas Pond Road.
Right.
Yeah.
Are there any houses on those lots?
No.
No.
Well, there's one that's privately owned, that's the first lot, and then there's the 9 little ones.
Okay.
And then there's a larger parcel behind it.
Yeah. Huh. Wow, what a mess.
Okay, so is that okay with people? It just seemed, they're kind of like, well, one is east and one's west, but they kind of, they're across from each other, across Lucas Pond Road. And I have to stop every time and say, okay, the one that's furthest east is the the one with the roadways. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but so is that okay, Linda, to call them north and south instead of east and west, or is that going to mess up a lot of other things?
I don't know what it's gonna mess up because we're the only ones calling it east and west to this point that I know of.
But if it goes to Walter,
No, I don't. I think if we just explain that we would like them called based on being north or south of the road, I think it would make it easier, name them 1 and 2 or whatever you want to do. But I think we should do that now. I don't think Walter will mind that.
okay, all right,
Can't speak for him, but I think he'd rather that there not be any confusion.
right. So I don't have the numbers right in front of me. So the north one would be the one with the little lots on it,
And that's lot 11.
lot 11, yeah,
And the south one is lot 42.
yes, okay.
So, so the confusion with the north and the south and the east and the west, are they actually, I don't have that right in front of me, but, so the ones that you want, are you gonna call them a directional name or are you gonna call them a number? Because if they're not truly east in direction or west in direction, but just north of the pond, even though it might be west, might be confusing. So maybe we should not go with like a directional name, because that could be confusing to however anyone might interpret that. Really, it's a relative thing to, north of the lake or pond
Right.
or whatever.
Yeah,
So
I'm happy with
maybe
numbers.
just calling them,
The numbers, the lot
maybe
numbers.
just calling them. Let's just call them a lot number
Yeah.
and what the lot number really is. That way there won't be confusion.
Right.
Well, that may change in the future though, because if those roadways are separated out, they might be, for example, lot 42-1, but I suppose but that won't matter because they won't be owned by the town if they convey it to the association, so that won't matter.
Well, as long as we just, I mean, I didn't want to, I had messed up before. Oh my God, I don't know. My brain is, yeah, maybe we just should maybe you stop calling them north and just call them that, 11 and 42,
Yeah,
whatever.
the lot numbers, I
Yeah.
think.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Update on the boundary marking trails and the trails.
Nothing, because Fred's away, right?
There was snow and I haven't been out doing any clearing or anything.
I will tell you, he did come in about week and a half ago and got, picked up more of them. I gave him almost the bulk of what was left in the box. I've got some saved downstairs, but rather than have him keep coming back and grabbing handfuls of them and having to go to the town hall, he has the box with the majority of the markers. There's still some left if anybody wants to do more, but.
Yeah, he and I were talking because I went out and because I checked with him, he's kind of the leader in that. And I did the little acorn lot because on the west, it is abutted by landowners who've done, some harvesting. There's a distinct stone wall there and stuff. But then we got to talking, he had given me a bunch. Anyhow, we thought we'd sit down when he got back and say, is it necessary to tag all of these lands or come up with a priority list that for whatever reasons would come up to see why we'd want to tag them, but maybe not intend to tag them all. So we put I was talking to him about the Guptill Lamprey pasture. And I said, well, if it's town land, shouldn't that encompass the recreation land? So, and that was one that might not necessarily need to be done because it's marked so well by other means, like the park and so on. So we thought we would sit down when he got back and try to come up with rediscuss what should be tagged and which might not need to. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, because I have some of those too, but I'm not going to flag anything else or tag anything else until he and I discuss, and Grace as well, because we're the Trails Committee.
Trail clearers.
Yeah.
I have been up on the Saddleback Trail though, and but it's hard going. You right now we probably could walk on top of everything, but town forester, ready? Are we ready to discuss with the new town forester? Get him involved once the snow melts, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should, once we can get out there, kind of go out with him and meet him on these different town forests.
Mhm.
And open it up to anyone else who wants to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's been a while since we've had like the town forests, the 4 things denoted town forests, that they've had studies done on those. Right. Those are all 1990 in those.
Right.
Oh, that was what I was going to mention. Linda, you had run off Charlie Marino's reports and then Bob Graves' report on, what was the 5th one that was in there? Was that Guptill? Anyway, I don't know if Grace Mattern and I don't know if Susan Romano got those. I think they've come since those were run off.
Yeah.
If that's something they would want. But
I think I've looked up some of, I was just so very curious about the forest management plans for the town property. And so I have researched them a little bit, and I think I've seen Charlie Marino's. I think that's the only one I've seen. But I did notice that they were written quite a while ago.
Yeah, they're very old.
at this point, it may not be any use to run them off again. 1990 is when he did his, so it's in need of redoing.
Yeah.
Sure. So maybe we need to consider updating those if we have the funds to do that. Or maybe one each, one per year over the next 3 years or something. I mean, we only have a few of the town forests anyway. You know what I thought was really interesting was the discussion at the last meeting about how the school lot was there to provide funds for the school, and how the parsonage lot was for the church. Well, does that continue on? I mean, I love the history there, but if we could continue to support the schools with perhaps a timber sale or something. I mean, where does that money go to at this point? If there's a timber sale and there's profit from these properties, would they go back to the school? I mean, that
No.
would just make me feel so great to
No,
have that.
that changed years ago,
No.
and now it goes back to the town's general fund. It would be revenue to the town itself.
Well, but anyway, I think management plans need to be looked at, and then we can see whether or not there is something that we can do with the property.
Right.
The Bob Graves update, that's been a while, even that one. That wasn't as extensive as Charlie's original one, but
No, and Robert Graves did one for we call it the Acorn Ponds lot, but it was called the Low lot back in 2011. And is that something that for Brian Camo, the forester, would he be given all of those reports? Or did they even start out with the old reports like that?
I think that he was sent them early on when we first,
Okay.
I'll touch base with him. How would you like to proceed as far as, would you like him to come to be invited to the April meeting and see if he can attend that? Would you rather plan later in April or early May to do a site walk with him, or would you like to sit down and discuss things first, or how do you want to proceed with making contact? When I originally spoke to him in 2020, he was hoping to wait until there was a face-to-face meeting, and then as COVID became more involved and we knew that wasn't going to happen, I touched base with him in November, and he said, well, he doesn't like Zoom meetings, but like everybody else, he'll come to a Zoom meeting if requested, but
Well, maybe we could meet him out at one of the town forests and just have a discussion with him on site.
Yeah, I think it would be good if people took a look at the various reports, and maybe next meeting when Fred's back, and we've got Susan Romano, we got foresters here, to take a look and then start prioritizing which ones we would have him work on first. I mean, maybe it is the 4 lots that, that were done in 1990. I don't know what people would think, but maybe we could discuss it at next meeting, and then it'll be warm enough by May, right, to actually, if Brian wants to meet us somewhere, we could do that. I think it'd be comfortable going out to some of the lots if he wanted to do it that way. What do you think? I
think that's a good
I
plan.
think, yeah, if he's that uncomfortable at a Zoom meeting, we certainly shouldn't ask him to do that.
Right.
We should just go ahead and meet him in the field, I think.
Yeah.
okay, I just checked my files and I have both of those as PDFs. I'll send those out after the meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. The great.
Now, does anybody want a hard copy that doesn't have them?
Yeah.
What was the other Graves one? I'm not in my room because it's cold. The one that was at the back of the one you copied, Linda, that was Bob Graves' report on, was it all the lots again? Was it all the town forests? If you
I'm
look.
pulling it up right now.
I don't think they have that one.
There was inventory of timber parsonage lot. See a table of contents. School lot. Yeah, I think it was
Yeah, I think he did all
I
4.
think it was just a general update from the other one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, Giles. Yeah, I think they're all on here. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Deloria.
And there's the one, it would be called the low lot, which is the Acorn Pond one. There are some mistakes in there, like Bob Graves suggested that people just drive in and park by the pump house, which is not, no. So some of those things we could correct. We could let Brian know some of those little nuances. We talked to him, but there's some things that were in there that probably he got the acorn. This is funny. I shouldn't say this, but he got the Acorn Ponds mixed up.
Oh.
The Graves family lives on Green Street.
Right.
The big and little. So, I mean, I'll bet you that the report itself is fine. So I shouldn't do that. But I just cracked up when I saw that, and then realized that he actually lives out in that area.
Oh my
Anybody can make a mistake. But anyhow, yeah. So I think that would be good if we could talk it over and prioritize and just see what we want to do.
Yeah. Okay. So if you could put it on the agenda for next month, that'd be good. Okay. I have internal business, appointment of members.
Yes, I just wanted to update you on that, the town administrator has asked a staff member to go through and send a letter to everyone whose term is up. So typically in the past, we've tried to kind of catch up, and when somebody is due, we send a letter or recommendation. But since they're back on the schedule of actually sending letters directly to each person, I don't know if you want to do that or not. Certainly no harm in it, but it's not a necessity like it was in the last few years where letters weren't being sent out. It's up to the commission whether they'd like to just send a letter to the Board of Selectmen recommending people to be reappointed. I don't know that there's any reason the selectmen wouldn't reappoint anyone who's interested. So I don't know if you want to do that or not. Winnie's up and Steve Hample is up. And I provided the mailing addresses, so I know that there's letters going out to both of you.
Okay. Well,
So if you're all set with that, that's fine.
How do we get sworn in? Wait for good weather and they come outside the door? We used to.
No, she actually is having people, I think, come in now.
Okay.
I asked her to come outside with me.
Yeah.
And she
Oh,
did.
she'll do that if you ask her, yeah.
But now I'm vaccinated, so now I would go inside.
wow,
Second today.
lucky you.
I know, lucky me. I do feel lucky. I was a little dogged with the sign up online once it went live. But yeah, she was lovely about coming outside to do it with me when I asked her. She's like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Well, it's been a tough year for her, I'm sure, because she's had to work outdoors for her own safety.
Yeah.
I have one other item to just bring up quickly if you are
Sure.
want to stay on. Winnie had asked for me to look up and bring to the commission the total of the Conservation Land Fund. And that number is 105,000.
Ooh.
And I will say that in looking up the number and going through my treasurer's report, there was no deposit made in 2020. I did send an email to the town administrator asking him for some time to sit down and go over the process of finding out how we're doing it now, and is there a better way to do it in the future to keep better track of these. I know the commission has always had some concerns about, is there a list? How do we know? Because we get 50% of the land use change tax, the current use penalty that's imposed when land comes out of current use. And just to know how Northwood handles it, we've changed assessors. We've now changed the tax collector several times in the last short number of years to make sure we understand what the process is and to be able to have checks and balances to know that these penalties are going where they're supposed to and that the conservation gets their delegated portion of that tax when it's received. There should have been a deposit made in 2020 because I'm certain there was at least some. I did look at a couple of properties that I know came out of current use that were part of subdivisions with the planning board. And I did see some notes that the assessor had noted that the penalty was calculated, and it's on the system. But other than sitting and talking with the assessor and the tax collector and there'd be no way to know how this goes from him to her to the treasurer in order to be deposited into the conservation land fund. But I intend to have that conversation with the town administrator.
Good. So this is money that could be used to purchase land to put into
Correct.
conservation.
Yes,
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Well, it's also money that could be used if someone wanted to do a conservation easement, and it could be used to pay for the transaction fees.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
could encourage a landowner,
Yeah.
which is good.
Yeah, it seems really important, Linda, that the town administrator be on top of that and be tracking.
yes, yes.
I mean, we want that 50% because we could do some really good things with that funding at some point.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if it goes into the general fund, it just,
Disappeared.
it
Yeah.
ends up as surplus to,
Yeah.
work in with the rest of it for the tax base, and it doesn't come to the Conservation Commission, and that's
Yeah.
my concern.
Yeah.
It's been a concern for a few years. We've talked about it, and I attempted to address it before and it never really received a clear answer on it. But I think now is the time that, and
Yeah.
I think the town administrator that we have now will be willing to follow through on that process.
Well, thanks for staying on that. It's
Yeah.
really important.
Very important.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Now, I have one last thing, and I know it's getting late, and I don't know if you want to, I will only say that I had someone mention to me at the town hall the possibility of someone who may be interested in a conservation easement. And I don't know if it would require you to go into a non-public session in order for me to talk about it. And either that or you could grant authority to the chairman or one of your members to speak with me, and I can give that information to someone if someone wants to follow through and contact the property owner.
I'm okay with going into what did you call it? Special session or whatever?
Non-public. Yeah.
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 Non-public.
That's what I'll do that.
Yep.
Need a motion?
Yes.
So moved.
Make a motion to go into non-public.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
It's a roll call vote, please.
Grace Levergood,
Winnie Young,
Susan Romano.
Grace Mattern.
Thank you.